So I've decided to come down to Dartmoor, and I'm actually on my own this weekend. Unfortunately, Hannah's working, but I've managed to hire a car, drive down here to Dartmoor, and my plan for this evening was to shoot this location behind me, which is called Great Staple Tor. Unfortunately, as you can probably see, the weather's not ideal today for photography. It's very overcast, and there's not an awful lot of definition in these clouds at the moment either. But in order to give myself the best chances of actually getting some form of light on this tour, I'm actually planning to camp out here this evening. So when I actually, one of the reasons I got into photography was I enjoyed going out anyway. I enjoyed hiking. I grew up in the Highlands of Scotland and did quite a lot of hiking and camping up there. And I guess, whenever I used to go out, I used to take pictures on my smartphone and pictures with little cameras. But I never really got any sort of real great photos. So I guess when Hannah took up photography probably just over a year ago now, I sort of commandeered the camera a little bit as well and decided to get into landscape photography. So that's kind of how I got into landscape photography. So first and foremost, I'm into hiking and outdoors and things like that. So my plan this year is to combine the two and hopefully have a few trips where I go out hiking, go out camping, and do some wild camping. And actually the first vlog that we did was a wild camping vlog as well, so if you haven't seen that, do check it out. It was recorded on my smartphone, a little bit shaky, but that was our first ever vlog that we did, and we did some wild camping in Snowdonia, so do go and check that out if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, actually being on my own and going out and hiking is different to when Hannah's with me, because if Hannah's with me, then we've got the two bags and I can kind of share the load. So I just wanted to have a quick trip out just to test what it would be like on my own carrying both camping gear and photography gear, because the photography gear can obviously get quite heavy. So I wanted just to have a little bit of an experimental trip where I wasn't hiking too far. This is not much of a hike at all, but the road is just down the bottom of a hill. So I just wanted to test it out and just see how heavy the bag was. And yeah, just have a first outing out, do a bit of camping and see how it goes. So I'm now at Great Staple Tor, and it's very tempting to get the tent out straight away, just so I can get it up and get settled. But I don't want to do that straight away. I think the best thing to do would be just to walk around now and see if I can find any potential compositions here. The last thing I want to do is set up a tent and then find a great composition with my tent right in the way. So yeah, so I'm going to have a little bit of a wander around now and see if I can find a composition. So I'm fairly certain that I've got a rough idea of where I want to be shooting now. I definitely want to be shooting in that direction, and I want to get these three main sort of stacks of rock in the image. I haven't quite finalised the composition completely yet, and I'm going to do that once I get the camera out of the bag. But what this does mean is I now know that I can set my tent up over in the opposite direction over there, and I should be safely out the way of my image. Now, the good news is that we've got a few breaks in the cloud coming, so my hope of actually getting some decent light this evening has increased ever so slightly. I just wanted to point out this app which I use. It's actually a free app. It's called Sun Surveyor. And you can use this app actually to work out exactly where the sun is going to set and what time. So I know that at 8 o'clock this evening the sun is going to be setting directly behind this rock. Now this is such a useful app to use for photographers, and it's ideal for this kind of situation where you want to know where's the sun going to be going down, which direction is the light going to be coming from, and are we going to get any gaps in the cloud. So I highly recommend this app. I'll pop a link to it below. It's free. I believe it's available on both iOS and Android. But yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't got it already. It's called Sun Surveyor. So I've got my tent set up. I'm all settled in now, so yeah, really happy. I think it's time to get the coffee on. Before I do, I thought you might just want to see what I brought with me. When you're doing a bit of hiking and camping, you really want to try and keep the weight down as much as possible. So literally for photography, all I've really got with me is I've got the carbon fibre tripod, and to be honest, this head weighs a ton. So I might see if I can change that for future, because yeah, it's just too, I think a lot of the weight which I'm carrying is down to this head, so it's not ideal. But carbon fibre tripods obviously will save on weight normally if you've got a lighter head. The camera gear is all stored in this little green Lopro bag, and this sits in the top of my rucksack, and in here I've just got Canon 5D Mark II with 24 to 105mm lens. Obviously you can keep, I've got batteries, sort of memory cards, batteries, lens cloths, all of that sort of stuff. Just stays in here, and this stays nice and compact. I don't think, there's no need to take too much else. Sometimes I might bring the if I was in a mountainous area, I'd probably bring the telescopic lens as well, probably maybe not the 400mm lens, and I don't have a 70-200 yet, but I do have a 70-300, so I'd probably bring that, and because that's not an L lens, it's also quite light. And then it's just filters. I've got a filter holder in this green bag, and that's about it. Camping wise, obviously got a tent. I have this tiny little stove which I've had for absolute years. I've had this since I was about 15, so that's 15, 17 years old now. You now know how old I am. But that's fantastic, so light, just packs away inside little camping stove. Mug. I do like to have an insulated mug just to keep the coffee a little bit warmer. I've got a sort of this is just a cheap sort of Euro hike rip-off of a Camelback. Don't bother getting it, it leaks, it's rubbish. Get a proper one, like I'll do at some point. And we've just got sleeping bag, I've got inflatable mat, pillow, absolutely essential. That's about it really. Some food. The other thing which I bring is this power bank. So this is actually quite heavy, but it means I can charge up my phone, it means I can charge my GoPro. Yeah, really useful. Then I've just got food, I've got a little travel towel as well, and that's about it. So the really good news is that it looks as though we've got some light coming, so I'm really happy about that, because the weather forecast said it was going to be completely overcast, so I had very little hope that we would get any decent light this evening. Fingers crossed it lasts. You can see there's some nice breaks in the clouds at the moment, so yeah, it might make for some really nice sky at sunset, so super pleased about that, so happy. Yeah, I've had spent a little bit of time just wandering around with the camera off the tripod, and I think this is going to be my shot. I tried up on top of the rocks there again where I was earlier, but I think it works better here, and it's right next to where my tent is, so it's really convenient. So I'll get the tripod out now and get it lined up. So I've got the shot framed up. We've got this rock here in the foreground, which is just leading up into the scene quite nicely. And then we've also got the 3 stacks of rocks, which are just sitting really nicely. We've got, in the distance, there's Tor Church. So that's sort of sitting between the 2 stacks. I'm really liking how that's framed up at the moment. So I'm just waiting for the sun to drop down to the right spot, and then I'll take the image. I might focus stack this one as well, just to ensure that this rock in the foreground is really sharp in the image. But actually, whilst I was wandering around, there's another composition just at the top. And so I think what I'm going to end up doing is, once I've taken this shot, I'm probably going to jump up there and grab a shot up there as well, because there's a really nice formation in the rocks, which I think will work really well as a focus stacked image. Also, because we've got the sun just hitting that rock, we're going to have some sunspots in the image. So in order to combat that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a series of images where I cover the sun with my hand, and then a series of images where I don't. And then we'll be bracketing those shots as well. So I'm going to have quite a lot of images to mess around with in post-processing. But I'm going to go ahead now and take the shots, and we'll see how we get on. Okay, so this is my second composition, and we've got this rock here just in the foreground. It's just got a little bit of a puddle on the top of it. I just love the way it's catching the light. I love the way the grasses here are catching the light as well. So again, I'm going to go for a focus stacked image, and I'm bracketing 2 stops either side for each of those focus stacked images. So there's a lot of images to take. It's quite hectic, to be honest. So I have to work quite quickly because the sun's going down. But I'll go ahead and start taking the photos now, and we'll see how these turn out. Wow, so despite the weather forecast, we're getting an amazing sunset. It's absolutely beautiful. And as usual, I've been running around like a completely headless chicken, taking loads of images. I think I gave myself too much work to do with the focus stacking, so I've given up on that for the time being. It's just too complicated trying to do that and screening the sun with my finger as well. But the sun's now gone down, and as you can see, it's just really lighting up the sky. It's absolutely stunning, absolutely amazing. So I've come back down into the original spot. And we are at ISO 100 f16. I've still got the polarize on the lens. It's just amazing. So the sun's gone down now, so I'm pretty much calling it an evening for today. Hopefully we've got some good images from that. I really liked that sunset, it was fantastic. So I think we should get some good images from it. I've actually bumped into another photographer up here called Jonathan Hicks. I'll leave a link to his website below. He's shown me some of his images and they do look fantastic, so do go and check out his website. And he's actually going to stick around and do some light painting. So I might give that a go myself, we'll see how we get on. But for now, as the light's dropping, I'm going to call it an evening here, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Well, it's morning, and I've got to say that's one of the best night's sleep I've ever had in a tent. It was really fantastic. So I slept really well. It looks like it's going to be quite a nice sunrise, so I'm just going to spend a little bit of time now. I've got my coffee. I'm going to wander around and see if I can compose a good shot for sunrise. We've also got some mist down in the lowlands as well. I'm thinking that might work really well as a panoramic. So I've got about 15 minutes before sunrise, so I don't have long. I've got my coffee, that's the main thing. Jonathan's come back as well, just to say hello, so that's good. Yeah, I'm going to see if we can get some shots. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to get the spectacular sunrise, which I thought we might get when I looked out the tent this morning, which is a bit of a shame. We had some of these really nice clouds at the top here, which would just, if they were lighting up pink, that would have just been amazing. But yeah, I think the sun itself is just a bit too obscured. However, in the opposite direction of the sunrise, we do have some beautiful colours up in the sky up there. So I think what I'm going to do is move back over to the other side there, because what I had hoped was to get this rock formation here with the sunrise behind it catching these clouds, and I think it's just we're not getting enough colour in the sky there. So I think if I head back over to where we were earlier on and shoot in the opposite direction, I think that's going to work better. So we've got the mist down in the lowlands over there. I think that this is going to work really well as a panoramic, so I'm just going to take a series of shots, vertical shots, which I'll stitch together and make a panoramic with later. So I think that's about it for me from Dartmoor this morning. Yeah, it's been a really great trip. I've really enjoyed it. So much fun camping out last night. Had a really good time. Definitely going to be doing more camping this year. I might see if I can try and find ways of decreasing the weight in the bag, because to be honest, I think the bag was just a little bit too heavy. I think the tripod maybe is the main cause of that, so might need to do some readjustment before I do any more sort of long hikes with that gear. But yeah, I think it's been a fantastic trip. Really enjoyed it. Bit of a shame that the sunrise didn't really materialise this morning. When I got up and looked outside the tent, it looked like it was going to be fantastic. We had all these high clouds, and it just looked like it was going to be ideal for one of those kind of fiery sunrises. Unfortunately, yeah, it just didn't happen. We had too much cloud over where the sun was coming up. But I managed to get a couple of images this morning, so yeah, I think we've got some okay stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed this vlog anyway, and yeah, like I said, I'm going to be doing more camping later in the year as well, do more of this kind of stuff. So yeah, really looking forward to that. We'll head to a few other different locations, and I'm definitely going to be coming back here to Dartmoor as well. So yeah, if you like this video, please remember to hit like below, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, and we'll see you next time. Take care.